Episode 3, Underground. I woke up because I was shrinking back to my normal size. The shrinking itself was not noticeable, but the animals that had climbed my body when it was still as big as a hill were. I yawed a lazy roar that made some camels jump off my back and run into the desert. By now, I had shrunk back to the size of a tree. I still felt some monkeys hanging in my mane and got up to shake them off. They shrieked with outrage and went back to the oasis I had been sleeping next to. Now it felt like the ground was opening beneath me, but it wasn't. It was a crack in the ground between my feet that had been small at first, relative to my hill-sized lion form, but was now more than large enough to swallow a normal-sized lion. When I had reached the size of a cow, I already fell down through the crack.
Well, thank you very much, Lion.
Hi, Skeleton. You look like a mess.
Because I just fell through the hole that you created.
I created that hole?
When you were still as big as a mountain.
I do not remember. Must have been asleep.
Oh, like 23 hours a day.
As if you are more productive. Look at you. Your bones are all over the place.
Oh, shut up, Lion. I'm going to put myself together now.
Well, I left the skull and the bones trying to become a skeleton again, and I went deeper into the caves. My cat eyes adapted to the darkness quite easily, and the giant glowing mushrooms growing in here prevented the place from being completely dark. I followed a mushroom-lighted tunnel until it opened into a huge cave dome filled by a floating lake. As I prowled under the floating lake hovering in midair, I could see that there were things in it. Stones, berries, mushrooms, plants, pieces of meat, nuts, and some stuff I did not recognize. I hate water, but I love easy food, so I climbed a large rock and from there started to fish one of the meat pieces swimming in the floating lake. I almost had it when suddenly this large squid approached from the middle of the lake.
Now, what are you doing, Lion? Don't touch that.
Oh, why not, Squid?
I am the Kraken. Kraken. And this lake and all the stuff in it is my property.
Your what? I never heard of such a thing.
Property. Mine. You lions have your territory. I have mine. My lake and all the stuff that's in it.
That makes sense. Except that my territory is wherever I am. I started fishing for the piece of meat again, but the Kraken was faster and snatched it away with one of its long tentacles. It came really close to the underside of the lake, looking at me with its eyes that were as large as a turtle. In fact, the whole squid thing was about 5 times as big as me.
I tell you something, Lion. You want my things? You have to pay for them.
Pay? Now, what's that again?
You give me something in exchange for what you want from me. And to get that something, you have to work for me.
Work? Stop inventing these weird noises.
Work is a great invention. You will see. You work for me, and I'll pay you in meat. And this is the work I expect you to do. Take these stones here and distribute them more or less evenly among the skeleton, the bear, the spiders, and the chameleon. Come back when it's done.
The Kraken tentacles handed me a bunch of stones that I was supposed to distribute. I left the cave with the floating lake. Work? The whole thing was absurd and unheard of, so I explained it to the skeleton who had managed to pull itself together, except for the head it was wearing in its hands, standing in the light of a huge crack in the ground I had created. In order to get from the Kraken what I want, I have to do something that it wants.
It makes perfect sense. It's called a trade.
Oh, what?
You exchange something for something else.
But I'm not giving the Kraken anything. On the contrary, I am distributing these stones it gave me.
Then it's called work. Yes, you are working for the Kraken, delivering things. You are now the delivery lion.
Trade, work, whatever. The Kraken better give me that meat after I'm done. You want some of these stones?
Why not? Then you've completed your first delivery.
I gave the skeleton 10 of the stones and went on. That work thing, or whatever it is, seemed quite easy so far. I reached a smaller tunnel that was filled with nets hanging between the glowing mushrooms. At some point, I could not continue further into the tunnel because the nets were blocking it, and I don't like touching sticky nets. Sitting on the nets were spiders. They were also glowing. I don't eat spiders, but I like them because they eat stinging insects like mosquitoes. One of the spiders, a white, fuzzy one, approached me. Why are you spiders glowing like this? Did you eat the glowing mushrooms?
No, but we are eating the wasps, who are eating the mushrooms. It's a food chain of glow.
Wasps? There are wasps down here?
Yes, but don't worry, Lion. We will protect you and the mushrooms with our nets. This is our noble task.
And you get to eat the wasps?
That's a positive side effect, yes.
Thanks anyway. Here, have some stones.
What are these stones?
I don't know. The Kraken gave them to me so I can distribute them among you cave dwellers.
Suspicious. The Kraken never gives anything for free.
I know. It did not want to share the meat unless I distributed these stones. Very annoying.
Work! You are working for the Kraken. That sounds more like something it would do. Leave the stones here then. We will weave them into our nets.
So, you actually want these stones? Wait. Maybe that means they are worth something.
Maybe. So are you going to give them to us, or not?
I need to get further into these tunnels, but your sticky nets are blocking the way. Create an opening that is big enough for me to get through, and I'll give you 10 stones.
In other words, you want us to work for you.
Is that how work works? I guess so. Yes. Start working. It was one of the strangest interactions I ever witnessed. Animals usually hunt or eat each other. They fight for territory, or mostly they just ignore each other. But now, these spiders were doing something for me because I gave them these Kraken stones. If you are the one not doing the work, but giving it to others, the idea suddenly seemed pretty good. I could sit here all day watching you spiders work for me. Somehow this feels fitting for a mighty lion such as myself.
Unfortunately for you then, we are already finished. The tunnel is clear. Now pay up. you have to give us 10 stones.
Here you go. For some reason, I don't like this part very much. See you around, spiders. I followed the tunnel the spiders had cleared for me and eventually reached a huge cave that was filled with the noise of stones being broken. I remember this sound from when I used to prowl the Forbidden Mountain, but then it was only a short noise until the rockfall was over. Here, it just went on, which was irritatingly loud. Also, this is a cave. Where could the rocks possibly fall down from? They were not. Between some rock piles, I spotted a giant cave bear using his mighty paws to break off stones from the wall, creating an awful lot of noise. Hey, bear! Hello, bear! Will you stop for a second?
What?
What are you doing to the cave wall?
I'm breaking off the stones.
I can see that. What are you using them for?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing!
So why are you doing this? Are you bored?
The Kraken is giving me meat for it.
You too?
Me too?
Me too. The Kraken is also giving me meat to distribute these rocks. Do you want some?
Lion, these are the exact same rocks that I am breaking off.
They are? Don't all rocks look the same?
No. I was specifically asked to break off this type of rock, which has these shifting colors.
What shifting colors?
Do you ever look at things properly, you lazy lion? Take a good look at these stones you're distributing.
All right, I will take a look. But will you take 10 stones? The Kraken gave me the task to deliver them.
Just drop them here beside the others. Now excuse me, I have some stones to mine.
Another delivery complete. The bear continued breaking off stones. I did as it said and took a look at my stones. They had some shifting shades on it. Maybe colorful. Not sure. Lions have great night vision, but we don't see colors so well. But now they seemed very similar to the moving colors on the stone wall in this cave. Around another stone pile, I luckily found someone I could ask, the skeleton, staring at the supposedly colorful wall. What are you staring at that wall for, skeleton?
This is not a wall, it is a cave painting.
What?
There, look closer.
What?
Don't you see?
All I see is this colorful wall.
Oh, no. These are moving cave paintings.
They are what?
Lion, I explained that to you in the past.
I don't remember. This is all very entertaining, skeleton. But why is the Kraken having the bear break down these cave painting rocks, and then have me distribute them all over the place?
The Kraken always has some greedy plot in mind. We will see soon enough.
And I always have a hungry plot in mind. I have to distribute one last set of stones to the Cameleon, the Kraken said. Do you know where it is?
Just go through the opening the cave bear created. Follow one of the large tunnels that has a lot of moss and plants.
I passed the mining cave bear and prowled through the huge opening it had created and reached the crossroads of several large tunnels leading in various directions. One of them had indeed some plants in them, so I followed them, and to my surprise, the mushrooms and the moss and the plants became more and more until they became an underground steaming jungle. I did not know plants could grow underground. I thought they needed sunlight, like my friend, the carrot. But maybe they were using the light of the glowing mushrooms. Inside this part of the cave, the glowing mushrooms were growing more and bigger, and plants I had never seen were hanging from the ceiling. I went deeper into the caves, which became so huge that I could not see the ceiling anymore, so that it felt like I was prowling through a giant mushroom jungle. I followed the jungle tunnel for quite a while until I reached an absolutely empty clearing. No plants, no mushrooms, no moss, no rocks, no cave, no ground. Just a blank space of nothingness, or so I thought.
Away with you, lion. You are disturbing my reset.
What? Where? Oh, did not see you there. Where did you come from all of a sudden? And why do you have exactly the same color as I do? Turquoise, lion green.
I am the chameleon. I automatically take on the color of whatever surrounds me. And in this perfectly beautiful blank space of nothing, you are the only thing that surrounds me.
You are the chameleon? Oh, good. I am supposed to deliver these stones to you. I'll just leave them here.
No, don't leave them here. I don't want these stones. They are disturbing my reset.
Your what?
My reset. I am resetting myself, always automatically taking on the color of my surroundings, or of whatever I want, requires a lot of willpower. So sometimes I need to take a break from it by meditating in emptiness, not taking on any color at all. I am resetting my color.
That I can understand. I also take long lion naps. In fact, I suspect they are a lot longer than my awake time. But what am I to do with these stones if you don't want them? The Kraken promised me meat only if I deliver all of the stones.
Just dump them somewhere.
Just dump the stones. What an intriguing idea. I could get my meat without doing the work properly. I prowled back through the jungle tunnel and dumped the stones beneath some plants, then went back to the huge cave of the mining bear. The skeleton was still there too.
Oh, Lion, did you just make your last delivery? Was the chameleon happy?
The chameleon did not want the stones, but it had an interesting idea. Just dump them. So I did. Now I'm going to claim my meat from the Kraken.
That's actually called cheating. Or stealing. Maybe a combination of both. Embezzlement.
Is it? Sounds way better than that work thing. And it's less of a hassle. I should have done so from the beginning.
Oh, stealing too much is never good, Lion. Somebody tends to notice. I wish you a good appetite. Let's hope your little scheme works out.
I went back the way I came, to the other end of the mining cave, then through the spider tunnels, then beneath the crack in the cave ceiling I had created when I had woken up, until I finally reached the Kraken cave. The Kraken was still floating in its also floating lake, and swam to its edge right when I entered the lake cave.
Have you distributed the stones, Lion?
I did, indeed.
So I heard. The spiders have already come to buy some meat. Now they are willing to do some important work for me. Very well. So here's your meat.
Thanks. Where do you get this meat from, by the way?
Don't ask so many questions. Enjoy the meat. Now excuse me, I have stuff to do.
I left the Kraken cave and went back to the cave area beneath the crack I had created and devoured the meat. It was pretty okay. As always, when my belly was full, I started to feel lazier than usual. I tried to take a nap, but was prevented from falling asleep because it was raining. As a lion, I'm also a cat, and cats hate water. I roared in annoyance and jumped up. I was still in the cave system underneath Day-Night Land, where I had fallen asleep. So it could not be rain. It does not rain inside the cave system. That would be ridiculous and illogical, as my friend, the carrot, taught me. It only rains in here during earthquake monsoon. But it was not that either that had woken me up. It was the floating lake. It was expanding. The master of the floating lake was the greedy Kraken. But to expand a lake, you need more water. And that water had to come from somewhere. This question was answered soon, as I saw tiny glowing dots carrying drops of water. What are you spiders doing with that water?
We're adding it to the lake.
Why? Don't you know the greedy Kraken will use his growing floating lake to expand his empire?
We don't care. The Kraken pays us in stones that we can use to expand our own empire.
How so?
We go to the surface and mine water droplets from the river and transport them into the underground with our spider silks, finally adding the drops to the floating lake. The Kraken gives us stones in return. We give these stones to the Cameleon, who gives us the dangerous wasps it catches in return. More wasps than we could ever catch. We eat the wasps and digest them to produce more and more spider silks.
That sounds incredibly efficient, but somehow also incredibly stupid. Just make sure the lake does not expand anymore in this corner of the cave. This is my corner. I'm trying to nap over here.
If you say so, Lion. Now, if you excuse us, we have some water to transport.
For some reason, I found this very annoying. Not only because I dislike water and being woken up in general. It is also the principle of how this world changed. Instead of hunting, ignoring each other, or fighting for territory, everyone was involved in some cooperation. Instead of catching the meat themselves, the spiders are now doing tasks for the Kraken, who pays them in stones that the spiders trade for meat that someone else hunted for them. It was all incredibly efficient. And at the same time, very stupid. Especially because in the end, all these chains of work and trade led back to the Kraken. But everyone was too busy to notice it. I decided to do what the skeleton was mentioning earlier. Stealing. Steal everything from the Kraken, the food and the stupid stones, bring down the system and reset Day-Night Land. But not today. Oh, take a nap first.